Okay, today we're going to talk about the Cartesian Coordinate Plane. What we have on the paper is an example of the Cartesian Coordinate Plane. Some identifying parts first. The horizontal axis, this one, is sometimes referred to as the x-axis. What's more important for you to understand is that is the axis for an independent variable. Okay, we call it the x-axis because in algebra a lot of times x is the independent variable. The vertical axis is a lot of times referred to as the y-axis. It is the axis for the dependent variable. Okay. The point where the two axes cross is called the origin. It has coordinates 0, 0, 0 for the x value, or 0 for the independent value, 0 for the y or dependent value. There are 4 quadrants in the Cartesian coordinate plane. The upper right quadrant is quadrant 1. Then we go counterclockwise around the Cartesian coordinate plane, and that gives us the rest of them. The upper left is quadrant 2, lower left is quadrant 3, and lower right is quadrant 4. Notice that all the quadrants are labeled with Roman numerals. Okay, Roman numerals 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, some other things you need to understand that since this direction, if we're going this direction, this is like the axis is like a number line. If we're going this direction, this is the positive direction for x. This is the negative direction. To the left is the negative direction for x. Going up, the vertical direction for y, going up is the positive for the y values or the dependent values. Going down is the negative values. So the first quadrant, quadrant 1, is sometimes referred to as the positive quadrant because all the values in this quadrant are positive. Right? All the x values are positive, all the y values are positive. Quadrant 2 is the negative positive quadrant because all the x values are negative and all the y values are positive. Quadrant 3 is the negative quadrant because the x and y values are all negative. X is negative, y's are negative. And quadrant 4 is the negative quadrant because the x values are positive, the y values are negative. Okay? A couple of things to remember. To locate points on the Cartesian coordinate plane, you always use an ordered pair. The ordered pair is always in the form parentheses or open parentheses x, comma, y, close parentheses. The x value is always the first number, the y value the second, or the independent value, the dependent value. The horizontal number, the vertical number. When you're plotting a point, for example, 3, 2, we would do the x values first. If we assume scale, if it doesn't give us a scale, the scale is how far we're going over on our graph for each line. If it doesn't give it to us, then we usually will assume that it's 1, that each space is 1 number. Of course, we're going this way, it's negative numbers. And when we're counting, we count how many spaces we go over. This, of course, with being 0, 0 is where we start. So if we're going to plot the point 3, 2, starting at 0, 0, we go to the left, or to the right 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we go up 2, 1, 2. So there's the point 3, 2. I'm going to call that point A. So that's point A. If I wanted to plot the point B, if I said that B was negative 5, 1, then B, it would start at 0, 0 again and go 5 in the negative direction for X and up positive 1. So there's point B right there. If I want to plot point C, if I said C was negative 3, negative 5, then I'm going to go negative 3 for X and negative 5 for Y. So there's point C. If I said D was the point 4, negative 2, then I'd go positive and 4 for X and 2 negative for Y. So that point right there is point D. Okay, so the other way we look at the points, if I need to identify a point on the Cartesian coordinate plane, for example, if I said this point right here was E, and I want to identify those coordinates for E, I first would do the X value. Well, it's right on the Y-axis, so the X value is 0, and the Y value is positive 6. So that would be the point 0, 6. If I had this point that is F, so it was that one right there, then I have an X value of 7 and a Y value of 0, because it doesn't go up or down at all. Those are the points, those are the things you need to know about the Cartesian coordinate plane for tomorrow. Not a hard thing, but you got to know it. See you tomorrow.